What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got some new Final Fantasy cards to talk about. I know, I've not done a Final Fantasy video for a few days. I figured it was time to correct that. Now, we all know that new starter decks are coming out, and over on the Final Fantasy TCG livestream, a bunch have been revealed. Shout out to Mogpod Gaming for posting the images over in the Facebook group. So, who do we have? Well, starting off, we've got a 2-cost Fire Ace. It is a backup, a 0-class cadet, and when it enters a field, you select one of the 2 following actions. Choose one Ford the opponent controls, deal it 5,000 damage. Or, you may pay 3 fire. When you do so, choose one Ford the opponent controls, and deal it 9,000 damage. So either you just deal it 5,000, or you pay a little bit to up it to 9,000. Really depends, I suppose, on what Fords your opponent have got out and how scared of them you are at this moment. I mean, you could compare it to Firion. Usual apologies about my pronunciation of characters here, sorry. Who's also a 2-cost Fire Ford that also came in a starter deck. And, you know, when it enters a field, you choose a Ford and deal it 2,000 damage for each Ford you control, up to 3 Fords. So, I suppose if you've got 3 Fords out there, then you're actually doing a little bit more with that boy. Though worth pointing out that Furion is, in fact, a forward, whereas Ace is a backup. But just kind of interesting that you got 2-cost Fire starter deck cards. They do kind of similar things. So, I mean, in terms of other backups that you might play, you've got stuff like Black Mage that you can pay to and tap it to put it in the break zone and then pop a fire summon from the break zone into your hand. Cyan, who, when it enters a field until the end of your turn, all the Fords you control gain 1,000 power and brave. Meath, when it enters the field, you may discard a card. If you do, search for one Ford of the same cost as the discarded card and add it to your hand. Ninja, that you can tap, whack it in the break zone, and then choose a Ford that then cannot block this turn. Red Mage, when it enters the battlefield, choose a Fire Ford, and until the end of the turn, it gains haste and brave. There's some of the 2-cost Fire backups you might be considering. The point is, as a 2-cost Fire backup, it ain't bad. You've got a fair bit of what I like to call cheeky damage on there. Try and get rid of some of your opponent's Fords. We are also getting Terra, a 4-cost Fire character that is a Ford and has 5,000 power. Now, it's got an EX burst. When Terra enters a field, choose one summon in your break zone, add it to your hand, and when you cast a summon, choose one Ford your opponent controls and deal it 2,000 damage. So we are squarely, get it, back into, hey, we're fire. Let's deal some extra damage. But you get to get some summons from your break zone back into your hand, and when you cast a summons, you get to deal some damage to your opponent's Ford. That could be very helpful. Maybe you get your Phoenix back. Okay, Phoenix is kind of expensive, but it's also kind of good. Choose one Ford that costs 3 or less in your break zone, and up to one Ford your opponent controls. Play the former onto the field and deal the latter 8,000 damage. Or something like Belias if you want a nice cheap summon. It's got an EX burst, choose one Ford until the end of the turn, it gains 1,000 power and first strike, draw a card, and if you've received 4 points of damage or more, it also gains haste until the end of turn. Good for getting your summons back from the break zone, good for getting an extra advantage when you play your summons. Fire deck, summons, kind of worth considering. We're also getting an Earth Kefka, a 4-cost 7,000 power, and it is a Ford, and the artwork is, some people are going to love this artwork, and some people are going to absolutely hate this artwork. It's going to be one of the most, controversial artworks, and some people are going to absolutely adore it. I don't really like it. It creeps me out. I'm going to be honest with you. There we go. So, it's got an EX burst. When Kefka attacks, you choose one Ford you control and one Ford your opponent controls, and you break them. When a character your opponent controls is put from the field into the break zone, you may pay 1 and draw a card. So, yes, you have to break one of your own characters as well as one of your opponents, but I really like that you can just get rid of one of your opponent's forwards just straight off the bat. No, if they're less than this power or any of that rubbish, just gone. And I do like the whole paying 1 to draw a card, because card draw is good. It doesn't matter what card game you play. Anytime you're drawing, anytime you're getting a card advantage over your opponent, you're getting more options. So, yeah, I'm kind of alright with that. Plus, pay 1 off a backup to get a card that you could then use to generate 2 CP. I mean, that's a win right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's a win. We are getting a Shantotto. Now, Shantotto still got a little bit of a bad memory, shall we say, from when I was opening my Opus 1 box, desperately hoping for that Shantotto, and being frankly very, very sad. Boo, hiss, etc. The good news is, with this being a starter card, if I want it, all I have to do is buy the starter deck, and I'm definitely going to have it. So it's not all bad, I suppose. We've got a 9 cost, 9,000 power Earth Ford. Yeah, that is a very, very expensive card. And honestly, 9,000 power and a 9 cost, we'd like a little more, to be honest with you. But if your opponent controls 7 or more characters, the cost for playing Shantotto onto the field is reduced by 3. Well, now we're taking it from a 9 cost 9,000 power to a 6 cost 9,000 power. Now I am all in favour. Now I'm loving it. Now I'm fine. It's enough literally to make me stop complaining about the cost. Now it seems worth it. Slightly upsetting that you've got to wait for your opponent to have 7 or more characters, but these things happen. When Shantotto enters a field, you select one of the 2 following actions. Choose a character of cost 3 or less in your break zone and just play it. Choose one character of cost 3 or less your opponent controls and just break it. And I like this very much indeed. Either you just grab a character back from the break zone, or you break one of your opponent's characters. Now, it is in both instances 3 cost or less, so it is limiting which ones you can get. And as a couple people have pointed out, we mentioned Phoenix earlier. Well, Phoenix will get you a forward of cost 3 or less in your break zone and play it onto the field. So Shantotto here, if you're getting a forward, is basically the same as Phoenix. But the difference is that Shantotto can go and get yourself a backup of cost 3 or less. Still a very expensive character, but if your opponent's got 7 characters out or more, then it becomes manageable. So, it's not all bad. And finally, Cloud of Darkness. Now, we had seen Cloud of Darkness before. It's one of the cover characters, along with Onion Knight for the starter deck. They were revealed a little while ago. The difference is that we've actually got an English scan now, which is quite nice. It is a 3-cost Darkness character, obviously, with 7,000 power, and at the end of your turn, you remove the top card of your deck from the game. And it gains plus 1,000 power for each card removed by the ability. So essentially, it goes up in power by 1 every turn, and it starts as a 3-cost 7,000 power, which is not to be sniffed at. And when it leaves a field, you add 1 card removed by Cloud of Darkness's ability to your hand, and put the rest into the break zone. The indiscriminate discard can be a pain, and I say discard, you're actually removing it from the game, so it's not like you're popping it into the break zone, then Shantotto can go and get it back out again. No, they're removed from the game. When Cloud of Darkness goes down, then they go into the break zone and stuff like Shantotto can use them. But as it stands at the beginning, this is risky because you might end up removing cards from the game that you really want. And then it's an interesting decision for your opponent. Are they going to take down Cloud of Darkness and give you access to those cards back? Because they're in the break zone, there's plenty of cards that can get them back. Or are they going to leave Cloud of Darkness out there so you keep removing your own cards from the game, but at the risk of building up an absolute monster of a character, given that, 3 turns in, you got a 10,000 power forward. 5 turns in, you got a 12,000 power Ford, etc. That makes me kind of excited. I'm a little bit interested to see how people play this and how their opponents react to it. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Some new starter cards have been revealed. They look kind of cool. I thought it was nice to have a gander. But I would very much like to know what you think about all of these cards. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, where we talk Final Fantasy and any other games that take my fancy. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.